Welcome to WeekNGeek, your new comics preview for January 9th. I'm Mike Ortiz.
And I'm the Chris Brown.
We got a little ambience today.
Yeah, the weather sort of messed with us a little bit, so those of us in the Midwest didn't really get our books on Wednesday. We didn't get them till this morning, the 9th. So we're in here a little later recording. We had to do things the way we had to do them. So there's stuff just going on behind us. And
this is a lie. This is what it's really like in a comic book store when it's open. Not like Comic Book Man. This is a real comic book store. Well, that's a real comic book store, too.
And arcade junkies right now are going, what is that playing in the background? You just go ahead and think about that for a little while and see if you get it.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm going to start off here with my first pick here. I got Scooby-Doo Team Up. Mm-hmm. This is Batman and Ace the Bat Hound.
Ooh, I didn't know Ace was in it.
Yeah, Ace is in it, so it's going to be a little Ace Scooby action. We've already got Scoob dressed in the Robin costume right on the first page. We got some classic-looking Joker and Penguin and Riddler stuff. This has been a fun book. Is that Detective Chimp?
That looks like Detective Chimp.
Man, that's just fun. This book is really cool. I kind of like the whole idea of it because it reminds me... I like the idea of the team-up book in general. And then the Scooby-Doo team-up essentially is just the Scooby-Doo movies of my youth. But so far they've been all Batman-centric. Yeah. I wonder where they're going, going forward.
Right.
I would almost like to see some new Scooby-Doo movies, new Scooby-Doo movies in which they do some of the celebrities of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't care if it was people that I didn't even like. I mean, if there was some weird, kid star, whatever, let them have it.
Scooby-Doo meets Lady Gaga.
Why not? Why not? She's no Phyllis Diller.
No, she is not.
Next, I've got Afterlife with Archie #3. I love this book. Every month. Yeah. A lot of people are digging this book. Every month I talk about how much I like this book, and it is gaining in popularity. I mean, it's kind of strange. I get many requests each week, people asking for 1s and 2s, and those are long gone. I mean, I sold about 35 copies of each, which is unheard of for an Archie book. Yeah. I'm lucky if I sell 35 copies of Archie a year, let alone, one title, one book there. But this has been fun. This is the zombie apocalypse hits Riverdale. Right now, they've all found their way to Veronica's parents' place. So they're staying with her dad, and the way the last one ended, someone is already infected. So that even reminds me of the kind of old serial type stuff. So now there's almost like a game of Clue. Somebody inside this house is already infected. And we're gonna find out who it is, and obviously that's gonna get to the group who's inside essentially a mansion, a giant fortress.
Nice.
So yeah, I dig it. That's been pretty cool. Then this is what I'm kind of excited about here. We've got Black Widow #1. It's written by Nathan Edmondson. Really, the only stuff I'm familiar with is he did some odd image books. There was Light or something weird.
Did you do that Existence 2.0 or 3.0 book?
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know.
So, the art's kind of interesting. Was it Phil Noto? So it's kind of like a digital painted kind of look.
Really good stuff.
But I liked that Black Widow book that they did a few years ago. I thought that was kind of cool, and then they just ended it after 8 or 9 issues. I thought it was doing okay. It was getting good critical acclaim, and then it was out of there. So now that we're doing Marvel Now, as opposed to then.
All new Marvel Now.
Oh, it's all new Marvel now.
See? All new. On the cover.
As opposed to the old Marvel Now.
Instead of the old Marvel Now.
So I don't know. I'm glad they've given her a book again, and I'm curious to see what they're going to do with that. I hope it's fun. Next, I've got Daredevil Dark Knights. This is issue #8. This is Jimmy Palmiotti. This is still continuing that story with Misty Knight. Is this the last one? This says end, so I think it was only 8 issues, right?
Yeah, I think so.
They're down in Miami. It's Daredevil and Misty Knight. I'm trying to remember who they were fighting again. I'm going to have to go back and kind of try and remember these. I read them when they come out. This was one that I was caught up on, and I don't remember what I've read, but it's Misty Knight.
That's part of the problem with reading a lot of books is you don't actually remember what's going on until you start reading the issue and you go, oh, yeah.
That's right. What the heck is this thing?
Winter Soldier preview.
Oh, all right. I couldn't read the winter. It was all stylized and looking weird. All right, then I've got this is a book, yet another book I'm behind on. But of course, I've got mad love for Big Dog Inc. I think Tom Hutchison and Kim Hutchison over there running that company do such a fantastic job. And right on the cover of their book there, they've got a picture of a dog. That was their dog Justice, who they just lost this week. Oh. They found out pretty quickly she had a cancerous tumor, and they lost her. And I know they're pretty upset over there. So our condolences to the Big Dog Inc. family. And we're continuing the story here, Legend of Oz, number 14. This is Dirk Manning telling the origin of the flying monkeys. So Dirk Manning writing about monkeys, what's not to love? Got this is Sons of Anarchy, number 5. This is essentially a Tig story. Kozik's daughter comes, finds him, and I think I'm about an issue behind. I don't think I've read 4 yet. But it does sort of feel like it feels like an episode. Episode of the thing. That doesn't necessarily, you don't have to be super familiar with the show, and it doesn't really tie directly into anything that's going on there. But it's everything that's happened on the show has happened to these characters. But you can just sort of jump in and read it, and it's been pretty cool. I've been enjoying it. It's a nice supplement, nice little compliment to the show. Then we've got here's a creator we like a great deal. Here's Charles Soule, who we had in the store a few weeks ago, the day before Christmas Eve. Really cool guy. Really cool guy. Drew a terrible Swamp Thing on our wall over there. It looks fantastic. I even said, he's like, I want to draw on the wall. I said, can you draw? I can draw a terrible Swamp Thing. I said, well, then you have to. So this is letter 44. This is issue number 3. This has been a really cool book. President gets elected, finds a letter on his desk that the previous administration started all kinds of foreign wars because there is some kind of alien satellite on the moon, and there is something else beyond the moon, and there is actually a U.S. manned vessel that's up there trying on an exploration mission, trying to find out what's going on. And all these foreign wars were actually to train our planet so that we could fight a bigger thing.
Interesting.
Really neat idea. That guy's got some really clever ideas. Next, I've got Sex Criminals, number 4. Again, I'm an issue behind. At least I'm not 4 issues behind.
Yeah.
I am. I've read issue 2, which was kind of the other side, telling the story of the dude a little bit. Then they kind of get into the trouble a little bit. There's some group that knows what's going on, and this issue is titled Sex Police. So maybe obviously there's 2 people, so probably there's more people who can do this, and there's got to be someone, I guess, to govern them. Kind of interesting. This has been a book that is a lot better than, the titillating factor that you get from the title, where you, wow, Sex Criminals, all right, it survives a little bit better past its title than that other book with the Joe Casey book, Sex, which, we got a young fella playing that classic arcade game, so I can't really say what's going on in that book. But next we've got Sheltered, number 6. This is another Image title that is, from a story standpoint, really kind of starting to grow on me. I'm curious as to why this is going on. I really didn't like the idea of kids killing each other, but now we're getting into another group has showed up at their place. Again, they're preparing for the apocalypse, and a teenage group has killed all the adults. Young kid, you're seeing sort of a Lord of the Flies kind of thing developing, but it is a little bit better than its premise right now. I wasn't so sure those first few issues, and I just kind of kept reading it. The art, I think, is great. I really like the artwork in here a lot. This is who's doing the artwork? What is it? Johnny Christmas. All right. Cool. I like the name, Johnny Christmas. That works for me. We got issue 4 of 3. This is Image book. This is written by Kieran Gillen. Fantastic book so far. This is the story of the other soldiers, other than just the 300 Spartans and the Battle of Thermopylae. Some of the other things that were going on again, the Spartan soldiers weren't that, they weren't that great to everybody. That's where the legend lies, but there's a lot more to that story. And this is a fictional story playing off of, that classic tale. And right now I'm enjoying it a whole lot better than Frank Miller's 300. I enjoyed Frank Miller's 300, but as we were discussing before this whole thing started, I think Frank Miller's a crazy person. You, on the other hand, established that someone who tries to steal someone's soul is not crazy, but evil. Yeah. Splitting hairs, maybe? I don't know. Now I'm going to sleep less at night. Thanks. Then I've got, this is the last one right before my top pick, and this is, it's going to shock you that it's not my top pick until you find out what came out this week.
When you see the top pick, then you'll be
like, oh, well, of course. Yeah, well. Hey, Walking Dead loses on a week that comes out. So we got Walking Dead number 119. This is part 5 of All Out War. The previous issue was kind of a sad one. You sort of find out, I like the way he's pacing this. I mean, there's a war going on. He's even had a little bit of montage going on in the previous issue where, Rick's group is fighting, some of the outposts, and we also see what Ezekiel's doing. And Ezekiel, who was really all pomp and circumstance, is this sort of leading his kingdom and whatever. He didn't want to fight. He didn't know anything. And he led his people to die. Not many people made it out, and we lost Shiva. Everyone was so excited. Now Ezekiel's got a tiger. Now Ezekiel doesn't have a tiger. And this is the issue after that, where we're kind of figuring out what happened. Rick's group just arrives back at the camp. They find out that Ezekiel has lost. And, okay, well, now we've got to prepare for the next thing, because these are all the things that are going to follow. And they maybe follow quicker than Rick was prepared for. A really good issue, a solid issue. This all-out war story is the best story arc Walking Dead has had in a very long time.
Cool.
Good stuff. So what do you got?
I'm going to start off with Hoax Hunters is number 13. Unfortunately, I'm starting off with something I'm several issues behind on. I don't even remember kind of where this left off, because it's been a little while since I've read it. But this book is always usually you talk about it.
That's true.
Because I have a lighter stack. I got it this week.
I'm behind on this story arc. I finished the first two arcs, and then the one that started with our issue, the issue 10. I just haven't read any of that.
That's
yet.
the only one I've read so far. But the artwork on this is great. The writers behind this, friends of the show, great guys. If you haven't been getting Hoax Hunters before, this is the season finale. Yeah. So don't start with this issue, but go back and get the other ones and kind of get back up here. But I like this idea of them doing the seasons where you basically tell something kind of large. Each of the stories has kind of given you a little bit more backstory on what's going on. Where I left off, I remember that's kind of where they were going here. Telling a story set in the present that connects to and tells you things about the character's past. It's a really kind of nice way to do it. But again, basically, this has been a great book. I've really enjoyed it. I love the artwork. The artist on this one, what is his name? Christian DeBari. Great stuff. Great. Absolutely.
Yeah, it looks really good.
So that's how I'm starting off here.
And there's also, I'd like to mention, there's a fantastic variant cover of that book this week by Riley Rossmo. Fantastic variant. And they were, Steve and Mike were talking about that when they were here. Mm-hmm. They said, well, if there's a variant cover, does that affect you? You're ordering it all? And I said, well, if it's an artist I really like, if there's, like Riley, if Riley does a variant, I'm probably going to order more of it. If there's an option, I'm going to order more Rileys, and I'll order more of it. Right. And they laughed. They said, well, kind of what we were asking, we've got a Riley variant coming up. I was like, well, I'll order more of those, and we're already out of them. Yeah. I almost never sell out of that book, and we just noticed tonight that we did, in fact, already sell out here. And we were completely out of the Riley covers once people got wind of that.
Mm-hmm. So, there aren't any more right now, so don't come down here and get it right away. But you'll get more.
Yeah, I will get more, and I'm going to order more of the Riley covers, too. So that's probably the only cover I'll reorder.
Next up, I've got Green Lantern number 27. Like I've said before, the Green Lantern books now kind of doing a very different sort of vibe. It does look like they are kind of tying some things together in a subtle way. Okay. We've had in a couple of the issues the Durlan shapeshifters show up, so they apparently have some sort of plan going on. And we've got on the cover here a Durlan turning into Hal Jordan. So so we are getting kind of something going on in sort of in several different stories. We're getting connections, which is kind of interesting. Hopefully it's not going to wind up being a big crossover, like I've said before. That's one of the things that bothers me about Green Lantern. But a smaller crossover, maybe all of them kind of taking a different take on the story without actually crossing over. I'd love that. But yeah, this is good space cop stuff. This is Hal Jordan out in space. We've got some great artwork on this one by Dale Eaglesham.
I like his stuff.
Always been a great Green Lantern artist. He's worked on it several times in the past.
He did great stuff on Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four. He's a great. I wish he did more regular work, but I guess he's kind of slow.
Well, when it's that good.
Yeah. Next up, you want to talk another book basically built on art. It's Batman Black and White. I've been singing this one's praises for 5 months now. Seeing this one, we've got Ivan Brandon and Paulo Rivera. I love Paulo Rivera. You know what he did on Daredevil. Imagine that translating to Batman, and you get some gorgeous Batman stuff.
That was great.
Keith Giffen and Javier Polito. Also, he's from Hawkeye.
Oh yeah,
they're pilfering Marvel artists on this book. Blair Butler.
Everybody wants to do Batman.
That's true. Blair Butler and Chris Weston, Len Wein, Victor Ibanez, Jimmy Palmiotti, and Andrew Robinson. So not as many kind of big names on this book, but there's some gorgeous artwork. Andrew, is this the guy that does Five Ghosts?
Oh, it looks like him.
I think that's the guy who does Five Ghosts. Very classic style here. But again, great book. It's an art book. I feel sorry for the writers on this book because people are buying it for the art, but it's still, the stories have been good. They're all short stories. They're all tight, quick little Batman books.
That's why they hired, a critic from G4.
True. Well, she wrote that MMA book.
Oh, right. I didn't sell any copies of.
And nothing says Batman more than MMA. Well, the Chris Weston stuff's really nice.
I do like his art quite a bit.
Great stuff. But he
runs a great Joker too.
Yeah. I'm really, really enjoying this book. I've always enjoyed the Batman black and white stuff. There's no character in comics that works better in black and white than Batman. Next up, we've got Action Comics number 27. This is a book that I am caught up on, and I kind of sort of remember what's going on, but I remember very much that I like it.
Okay.
Greg Pak and Aaron Cooter finally.
That art's great.
They've got a team on this book that I think is really, really working pretty well. There was some sort of creature in the last issue that Superman that was destroying things, and Superman captured it, and then found out it sort of shapeshifted into like a child, and Superman's protecting it in the fortress. And meanwhile, there's the kid. There are these other aliens running around. I mean, this is very much a classic, old school kind of Superman story with aliens and saving the day and misunderstandings and Lana Lang. And as I've said before, Scott Lobdell kind of started this, but this book has had like thought balloons and narrative captions and a lot of kind of old school comic book storytelling things that you really don't see very much anymore. And it's kind of nice seeing that in a Superman book. Who knows? If they brought back thought balloons, maybe they'll bring back the red underwear, but don't count on it.
Yeah, I think we'll see the Comics Code Authority before we see red underwear.
Next up, we've got All New Marvel Now .1 number 1. That's a title. There's no words in there that actually kind of are very cool on their own.
No.
But as with all the .1s, this is a preview book basically of upcoming Marvel titles. So we've got a preview of the Dan Slott Silver Surfer book that's coming out.
Now, is this just the first 3 or 4 pages of each of these books, or is this something that precedes those 3 or 4 pages?
In the past, it was additional material.
Okay, cool.
I don't know if that's the case here.
That Mike Allred on Silver Surfer that looks tasty.
Yeah, so we got...
Man!
Actually, this looks like it might actually be a complete story, because a lot of times it's just little teaser short stories that'll kind of tie you into some things. I believe this is... it looks like we've got some Inhuman type stuff going on here.
Cool.
I believe in this issue. Oh, okay. There's some Black Widow. I don't know. Is this the first few pages of the Black Widow?
I don't know. I guess we can find out.
Let's find out.
No?
Nope. So yeah, this is a little teaser. It's got some. I wish they would actually put like what these are all teasers for. Oh, okay. So we've got Loki because he's got a book coming out.
Right.
Silver Surfer, the All New Invaders, Black Widow, the new Ms. Marvel, and some Avengers. So yeah, these are basically little teasers of those books that are coming out. All New Marvel Now books. I've enjoyed these .1 books. They give you a good idea of what things you're going to want and not want.
Yep.
Try it out. If you like what you see in here, you'll probably like the regular book, and if you don't like it, you can skip it. But so far, these have been pretty good, even though the titles are horrible, and I don't know how I'm going to put these together in my actual collection. And then, of course, we've got a little hint at the end. You've seen it online,
that whole Watcher thing.
Somebody gonna die. I think that actually does kind of come up in here somewhere too, from what I understand. So that's my stack.
How do you kill a Watcher?
You didn't see it coming.
Yeah, because he just watches. He's not clairvoyant.
Actually,
or are they a little clairvoyant?
Oh, but see, they're not allowed.
But he can't affect anything.
Right. So he knew someone was going to kill him, and he's like, "Oh well,
I'll just sit and watch."
Yeah.
So I guess that brings me to my top pick here. This is Drumheller number 3 by Image Comics. This is Riley Rossmo and Alex Link. This is Riley and Alex are co-plotting, and then Alex is doing the script, and Riley's doing all the art and colors. This book is weird. It's so weird, and I keep telling him that it does have kind of a Max vibe to me in that I don't really know what's going on, but it keeps giving you a little taste. It keeps there were lots of little nuggets dropped in the beginning. They've already dropped some hints about there are werewolves in this world. There are other bizarre things going on in this world. He's already shown a little, like a little layout of Proof is going to be talking to Bubbles in the diner in issue 5, so that'll be cool. This issue's there's a DJ that saw something in in the mall from the previous issue when the bog monsters kind of attacked, and people couldn't see it. But if they were affected by it, suddenly they could see, like, oh my God, something's not right. Well, she saw something, and now she knows Drum's behind it, but Drum has also been arrested, and they're putting him in jail. Issue 4 includes some wonderfully drawn picture directions on how to make toilet wine. That is not in the 3rd issue here, but there is toilet wine directions in the 4th issue.
All right.
Which I thought was funny. I was reading the 4th issue while I was kind of pinging things back with Riley. I'm like, are you instructing us how to make toilet wine? He says, yes, that's yes. So, well, okay then. This is a fun book, and I'm constantly a little bit ahead. So, where this is
behind, this one you're ahead.
Yes. It's funny how that works out. Again, that's why it always finds its way at the top. It's a psychedelic romp with a wonderful kind of slacker character, Drumheller, who reminds me of kind of it's almost if Carlos Castaneda was dropped in the middle of the Max, and it was kind of more about psychedelic drugs and monsters than about a purple spirit guide and a girl who dies kind of thing. So really cool stuff. I love Drumheller, and
let me tell you, that is one gorgeously colored comic book.
Oh yeah,
I'm just sitting here and it's like those colors are just
look how pretty that
popping
is.
out at me.
There's a crazy page in the 4th issue where one of Drum's cellmates drinks the toilet wine and kind of wigs out, and it's holy shnikes, is it amazing? It's amazing. And there's a couple other weird things that we discussed that are coming up in another issue that I'm not going to discuss here, but kind of funny. I made a funny little joke, and I think he's going to do something bizarre just because it's like, do you want to see that? And I was like, maybe human eyes shouldn't, but now that you bring it up, yeah.
Uh-oh.
So, I don't know.
So something happens,
getting weirder.
Something happens in the future that really just makes you go, that's just wrong. You know who to blame.
Yeah, it was a discussion Riley and I had, so.
My top pick is Avengers World #1. I feel, I'm almost ashamed at how much of like a Jonathan Hickman fanboy I've become. I just absolutely love what he's been doing on the Avengers. I've said many times in the past, with Infinity and with that 24 Point Now issue, that he's really kind of doing this big, epic comic book storytelling at a new scale, in a new way. And I'm blown away by it. I just absolutely love everything he's been doing on the Avengers. Slow started first, but once it got rolling, like the Fantastic Four, it's clearly this big thing. And this is a good example, Avengers World.
Probably more appropriate for him.
Yeah, I mean that's it. This Avengers is too big to be New York or America. It's the world. Maybe in a year we'll get Avengers Universe. I don't know, but Jonathan Hickman is attempting to tell, I think, the biggest story he's ever told. Although we did find out that S.H.I.E.L.D. is finally going to be ending soon.
Thank the maker. That was a great book.
Yeah, so I guess now that there's a TV show called S.H.I.E.L.D., someone decided maybe we should finish this book so we can get a hardcover out there.
Well, it was it's Marvel's version of the Manhattan Project, kind of like it was almost like something he had ready to go, and then all right, we'll do this thing at Marvel, it'll be fun, and then he ends up doing Manhattan Project.
He's been distracted by his work on the Avengers and the Fantastic Four, and I've been blown away. I'm really just kind of surprised at how much I like the Avengers now. I mean, this is one of my favorite runs of the Avengers ever. I've been doing it for a year and a half now?
Something like that, yeah.
This is just big.
But it's more issues than that, though.
Yeah.
Even though he's already had like 2.5 years worth of issues.
Right. They've been
and if you count New Avengers too, because the Avengers is like 4 issues in.
Right.
New Avengers is only 14 or 15 issues in, but that's 39 issues of the Avengers that he's already written. I mean, he's already written 3 years worth of stories. Then you throw in 6 issues of Infinity.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if is this replacing an existing Avengers book?
I don't think so.
So he's basically going to be doing 3 Avengers. And now I know one of the Avengers books he's co-writing with somebody.
Well, that's got Nick Spencer on it.
Okay, so maybe this is the one then. So yeah,
he's so far behind he can't even bother to read the cover of the book.
All I see is Jonathan Hickman, and I stop because I'm drooling. But yeah, I just love Hickman writes the kind of comics that I dig. You know, it takes a while, slow start. I didn't warm up to Manhattan Projects at first, and there's a couple things like I dropped off a Secret because I don't think that one's going to finish after Shield, and God is Dead. I got a little behind into, so I don't know. About that.
I'm about two issues into that one. I'm a little behind, but Mike Costa co-wrote that with him, and Mike Costa was in here, so I felt like I needed to try and catch up on that. And it's good. And
yeah, in East of West, I mean, he does a lot of great stuff, but. I loved his Fantastic Four, and I'm kind of digging his Avengers even more. I mean, this is the Avengers that I want to see. You know, big, epic, gigantic stuff. I mean, if it's the team that is not just the most powerful, but now basically everybody, every powerhouse and non-powerhouse in the Marvel Universe. If you're going to tell a story about everybody, you're going to have to make it big, and he's making it big. So I dig it. I can't wait. This is clear. Like when I looked at my stack, I was like, oh, this to me is like, you know, Drumheller or Walking Dead to you.
You're fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, because you always generally have the Hickman stuff right at the top when it comes out that week. Yeah. When he was doing the Fantastic Four, it was like we'd have to alternate it. Yeah. But I'm way behind on the Avengers. It gets so big for me. I was like, I don't even know what's going on. Yeah. But with that is your Week in Geek, and a mighty Week in Geek no prize to those of you who've never shopped in here and know what that sound is in the background.